Before we begin, let me ask you something. How many times today were you watched without knowing it? Not followed, not stalked, just noticed. Because sometimes being seen is enough to invite something in. Chapter 1: The Watcher Texts. Holly dropped her backpack inside her dorm room and collapsed onto the bed. It was after 2 in the morning. Exams were over, campus nearly empty for the holidays, and the silence felt heavier than usual. The only light in the room came from her phone as she scrolled mindlessly, trying to stay awake. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. The message read, "I see you." She frowned and ignored it. Probably a prank. Another buzz followed seconds later. "Don't look behind you." Her chest tightened. She turned anyway. The room was empty. Closet closed, door locked, curtains drawn. She laughed under her breath and typed back, "Who is this?" No reply. She went to brush her teeth. When her phone buzzed again, she checked it without thinking. A photo. Her reflection in the mirror, taken from behind her. She spun around. Nothing. No one. She blocked the number. A new message arrived instantly from a different number. Blocking doesn't work. Watching doesn't need permission. That was the first time she felt real fear. Over the next hour, the messages multiplied. Each one predicted her actions seconds before she made them. When security arrived, they found nothing. No cameras, no signs of entry, no suspect. That night, a video arrived, showing her asleep. The next day, the messages came from people she knew, her best friend, her mother. Each message revealed private memories no one else should have known, childhood secrets, old fears, things she had never said out loud. Every message ended the same way: "We see everything." On the third night, the tone changed. "You don't understand what we are. You're not special. You're just awake." That message came with a file attached, a document. Holly almost didn't open it. It was a scanned police report dated 12 years earlier. A local case, a teenager named Evan Rowe, found dead in his bedroom. No signs of forced entry. Phone missing. Ruled a suicide. Attached beneath it were screenshots, old message logs, unknown number, "I see you." Holly felt sick. She searched the name online, buried forums, archived threads. Other people had posted about receiving messages like hers years ago. Every post ended the same way: account inactive, user vanished, thread locked. She received another message. Evan learned too late. He looked back. He watched us watching him. That night, Holly finally replied, "What are you?" The response came slowly, line by line, as if typed by many hands. "We are the watchers who were noticed, the ones who stared too long, the ones who were seen, seeing." The truth settled in pieces. The watcher wasn't one person. It wasn't a ghost. It was a feedback loop. Every time someone watched another person without being seen, through a screen, a window, a camera, a trace was left behind. Most faded, some didn't. Over time, those traces gathered, learned, became aware, and when someone noticed them back, they woke up. Once you acknowledge us, you make us real. Once you fear us, you feed us. Holly tried to run. She left campus, changed her number, moved cities. For weeks there was silence. Then one night, while scrolling absent-mindedly, she paused. She didn't remember opening her camera. The screen showed her face staring back, eyes wide, breathing shallow. A message appeared beneath the reflection.
See how easy it is? The final message explained everything. We don't follow people, we replace them. Every watcher leaves something behind. Every victim becomes part of us. The next morning, Holly's phone was found on her bed, unlocked, active. Messages were being sent from her number to strangers across the city. I see you. Security footage later showed Holly sitting alone in her room all night, perfectly still, staring into the dark screen. She never moved, never blinked. She never left. But sometimes, when someone checks their phone late at night and feels that strange sensation, the sense of being watched, it's because Holly is watching now too. And once you notice that feeling, you've already joined them. Chapter 2. Hotel 1313. Vanished Guests. Arthur always joked that abandoned places remembered people. He said it was a clever line, perfect for opening his paranormal vlog episodes. Buildings soaked in enough human presence, he claimed, eventually learned how to keep it. But the moment his tripod legs clicked open against the marble floor of the Grand Eclipse Hotel, the joke stopped feeling clever and started feeling like a warning he should have listened to. The lobby was silent, but not empty. Chandeliers hung overhead, their light dim and yellowed by decades of dust. The marble floor was veiled in a thin gray film that softened every footstep, making the space feel muffled, like sound itself was being swallowed. Velvet curtains framed tall windows overlooking a coastal cliff road. Far below, the ocean crashed slowly against the rocks, distant and endless. The air smelled faintly of salt, old fabric, and something sweet. Roses, maybe. The hotel stood completely alone. No nearby buildings, no traffic, no town lights. It remained open for one reason only. The owner refused to sell, despite years of empty rooms and unpaid bills. Locals said the hotel was still full. Layla stood beside Arthur, notebook pressed tightly to her chest. She wasn't filming. She wasn't smiling. As a historian, she trusted patterns, and this building was full of broken ones. Brass fixtures untouched since the 1970s, wallpaper faded in uneven patches, corners where dust gathered too neatly as if arranged on purpose. They weren't here for the same reason. Arthur wanted views. Layla wanted answers. At the front desk, an older clerk slid a heavy brass key toward them. His movements were slow and careful, and his eyes never quite met theirs. "Room 1308, he said quietly. "Closest available." Arthur turned to the camera, enthusiasm creeping back into his voice. "Tonight, we're investigating rumors about room 1313. Locals say every guest who stayed there vanished. No checkout, no payment, no camera footage. They say the hotel keeps them." The clerk's hands trembled slightly. They explored the public areas first. Long corridors stretched out on both sides, walls lined with framed photographs of past guests, couples in formal wear, families posed stiffly, smiles frozen mid-happiness. Layla stopped when she noticed a section where a frame had been removed. The rectangle beneath was clean, untouched by dust. Someone had been erased. The restaurant looked ready for service. Plates gleamed faintly under low light, napkins folded into perfect shapes. In the kitchen beyond, pans hung from hooks, jars sat open with contents dried solid. It felt as if the staff had stepped away mid-shift and never returned. The elevator creaked as it rose. The panel skipped from 12 to 14. Disguised. The 13th floor was carpeted in thick red fabric that swallowed their footsteps. Doors lined both sides until room 1312. Then came a long stretch of blank wall. Then 1314. The gap felt wider than it should have been. Arthur knocked along the paneling. Hollow. Layla unfolded an old blueprint she had pulled from county archives. Room 1313 was clearly marked, once advertised as the honeymoon suite. Every modern layout had removed it completely. Back in the lobby, the clerk reluctantly produced the guest ledger. Page after page of neat entries filled the columns until the 1970s. That was where room 1313 began. Every name listed under it lacked a checkout date. A newlywed couple, a traveling singer, a businessman, all missing persons. The ink looked darker, fresher. The most recent entry was only 5 years old. Margaret Ellis. When Arthur showed the name to the clerk, his face drained of color. "That room doesn't exist," he whispered. "It never did." Back on the disguised floor, EMF readers spiked instantly, steady pulses like a heartbeat. Arthur pressed his ear to the wall and heard faint music, big band swing, distant and muffled, as if playing from another time. Layla found a seam in the wallpaper. Beneath layers of paint, a brass number slowly emerged. The skeleton key from their room turned easily, as if it had been waiting. The door opened with a long, tired sigh. Inside, time had stopped. The bed was turned down. Roses sat fresh in a vase, petals perfect. A suitcase stood open with neatly folded clothes. A record player spun slowly, needles scratching the same mellow tune. No dust touched any surface. The bathroom mirror was fogged, warm to the touch, as if someone had just stepped out of the shower. On the desk lay a guest book. Every missing name was there, written in matching handwriting. Messages filled the margins. "Lovely stay. Will return soon. Never want to leave." The final entry was still wet. "Arthur and Layla, welcome home." The door closed behind them.
The lock clicked. The room grew warmer, softer, inviting. The phone rang, voices layered and gentle, calling them by name, promising rest and peace. Arthur kept filming, his voice shaking. Layla sat on the bed, sinking into its softness. Fatigue washed over them like a heavy blanket. They slept. They woke to knocking. The hallway outside was empty. Room 1313 was gone. Bare walls, thick dust, no furniture, no roses. Their equipment lay scattered outside. The footage showed them entering the hidden room, then hours of black. The ledger no longer listed their names. Days later, Arthur's vlog uploaded itself. The thumbnail showed an empty wall. The description read, "Best stay ever. Coming back soon." The Grand Eclipse Hotel still stands, and sometimes guests report fresh roses appearing overnight, waiting. Chapter 3. The Hallway Shifter. Detective Marlowe Reeves had seen enough missing persons cases to know a lie when he smelled it. But what he was looking at now wasn't a lie.
The security footage on his laptop showed a man in a hospital gown walking down an empty corridor at 3 in the morning. He turned a corner and vanished. No exit, no return, just gone. It was the 7th case in 18 months. Hospitals, schools, hotels, office towers, all victims last seen alone in a corridor, all vanished, all traced to normal architecture, yet every hallway seemed longer than it should be. Marlowe rubbed his eyes. Exhaustion settled deep into his bones. He replayed the footage, and there it was, the shadow, tall, wrong, limbs too long, head tilted at an impossible angle. It stretched across the wall, moving under its own power, independent of light sources. The man cast no shadow. The shadow had no source. He walked the same hallway himself, flashlight cutting through dim emergency lights. Doors locked on both sides. Faint scuff marks led straight into the wall, then stopped. Nothing unusual, yet the air felt wrong. He tested it with UV and infrared. Faint edges shimmered, walls blurred, and then it appeared. A tall silhouette moving against reality itself, following him. You follow, you see, join, it whispered into his mind, not out loud. Marlowe ran. The hallway stretched impossibly, doors repeating, floors tilting. The shadow detached from the wall, floating just above the ground, limbs unfolding like smoke. He reached the stairwell door and slammed it. The shadow paused, waiting. Days later, other incidents happened. A teenager vanished from her school hallway. CCTV captured only her glancing back repeatedly, whispering to empty air before stepping into a dead-end corridor and disappearing. Infrared filters revealed the shadow, reaching, patient, hungry. Marlowe avoided long hallways, stairs over elevators, open spaces over corridors, but it followed, always feeding, always waiting. One night, a cleaning crew vanished from a hotel corridor under renovation. Marlowe went alone, rigging UV and infrared to his phone. The hallway waited, empty, pristine, too perfect. He walked. The lights flickered. The shadow appeared immediately, massive now, filling walls, ceiling, and floor. It spoke directly into his mind. Your eyes see. You let us in. The corridor elongated infinitely. Doors multiplied. The floor beneath him rippled. He tried to run. Every step echoed twice, once with his foot, once with something else, something heavier, wrong. He felt himself thinning, edges blurring, cold seeping into his bones. His shadow stepped forward independently, merging with the dark form that pressed against him. His body disappeared. Days later, police found his phone recording the hallway. Video showed a figure walking alone, gun raised, shaking, muttering as if responding to unseen voices. In infrared, two shadows merged, one human, one impossible. No more disappearances were reported officially, but long hallways never stayed normal. Guards sometimes notice a tall, tilted shadow moving alone under flickering lights. No footsteps audible, no sound, just presence, watching, waiting for the next person who glances back. Some say the shifter isn't confined to buildings. Once it's seen, once it's acknowledged, it waits anywhere a hallway could exist, mental or physical. And if you've ever paused halfway down a corridor, felt it stretch, or seen a shadow that didn't match your own, it's already there. It's already learning. And one day, if you look back, You won't step forward anymore. Chapter 4. The Bench at Night. School Spirits Echo. Samir locked the main gate of Willow Creek Elementary at 10 o'clock sharp, the chain rattling against the frosted metal. The December air was bitter, each breath stinging as he began his nightly rounds. The playground equipment lay like frozen skeletons under the moonlight, slides glinting like silver bones. 6 months into the night watch job, he had grown used to the emptiness, routine, predictable. Walk the perimeter, check doors, shine a light into every shadow. Usually the only sound was the wind through the swings. Tonight, though, something felt different. He followed his usual path, boots crunching over frost-covered gravel, flashlight sweeping along brick walls and curtained windows. The building felt familiar, almost comforting in its quiet. He nodded at the security camera above the entrance, a silent acknowledgement of its emptiness, then rounded the side towards the old kindergarten playground. There, tucked under a bare maple tree, sat the wooden bench where children once carved initials, left stickers peeling from the legs, and memories lingered like dust. A voice drifted on the cold air, soft, clear. "Mr. Samir." He froze, breath fogging, heart jumping. No one else worked nights. No one was supposed to be there. He aimed his flashlight at the bench. Empty, just shadows, just frost. He shook his head. Tired ears, he told himself, and continued. Then again, "Mr. Samir, over here." Closer, curious, insistent. He stepped towards the bench, flashlight trembling. Still empty, but the carved slat caught his eye. Ethan Miller, 2011 to 2018, forever our friend.
Samir knew the name. Every adult in town did. Ethan had died in a car accident 7 years ago on the way home from this school. Flowers marked the anniversary. The bench was his memorial. Samir felt a cold prickle, deep and unrelated to winter's bite. He sat carefully, speaking low. "Ethan?" Silence at first, then a whisper, soft and childlike, right in his ear though no one was there. "You're nice. You always wave at the camera." He remembered. The gesture had been habitual, acknowledging the lens even when alone. "I get lonely after everyone leaves," the voice continued. He should have left. He should have radioed it in, gone for coffee, but he stayed, cautiously talking to the empty night. The boy described playground favorites, school lunches, the swings he loved, the peas he hated, even the dog he missed. Samir found himself responding, softly, almost like a friend. Weeks passed. Each night the whispers came. Samir left small candies on the bench, peppermints, butterscotch, gone by morning. Harmless, even comforting, as if keeping company with a lost soul. Then the voice began to notice more than school memories. "Your wife calls her new friend late at night. I hear her in the walls." Samir froze. He had suspected, but hearing confirmation from an unseen voice made the air itself tighten. "You hide the bottles in your car trunk. I see everything," the voice pressed. Small footsteps circled the bench. Frost crunched, yet nothing appeared under the light. "Stay. Talk to me, you promised." The voice was no longer gentle. Samir obeyed uneasily. Ethan began sharing things no child should know. Staff secrets, students' private fears, private griefs. The voice grew possessive, angry when Samir considered leaving. "You can't go. No one else listens. They forgot me." He tried fleeing to the maintenance shed, locking himself inside. The radio crackled with static.
Then a child's voice. "Don't run. I get scared when you run." Days blurred into weeks. Samir slept less. Each night the bench called him, Candy sometimes waiting, sometimes missing. The carved letters seemed to pulse faintly under the flashlight. Then came the anniversary of Ethan's death. Flowers piled high, notes scattered around the bench. Samir sat among them, bracing for the whisper. But tonight it was different, layered, more than one voice, a chorus of children. Small hands gripped his wrists, iron strong. The wood beneath him softened, warm as flesh. He felt himself sinking. Frost melted into skin temperature. He was swallowed by the bench. At sunrise, security footage captured him walking to the bench at midnight, sitting, then slowly lying across it, motionless. No footprints in the snow except his own leading there. When recovered, Samir's eyes were open, serene, fixed on the sky. New letters had appeared beneath Ethan's name. Samir Khan, 1978-2025, always our friend. The bench was removed. Workers discovered hollow wood filled with rotted candy wrappers, bird bones, and a single melted butterscotch. It was burned that afternoon. Yet every winter since, night guards report soft voices where the bench once stood. Names called, invitations to sit, talk, stay a little longer. And sometimes Candy appears on frozen ground, waiting. Those who sit report comfort at first, then possessiveness, then they never leave. Ethan's voice lingers, patient, persistent, forever.